Good evening and welcome to Going for Two. We talk about football and beer and football and possibly beer. This is the greatest day of my life. Forget getting married or getting paid to write about football or even discovering that beer isn't tasteless swill. It's Tom Brady getting caught cheating. He promised us, no, baby, I'll never lead you astray. The best part is he lied about something that had absolutely nothing to do with winning. The Pats could have beaten the Colts if they had played with 10 men all game, but no, not good enough. I know it's a bit of a whatevs infraction, but the Pats have been one of the quickest professional franchises to go from who to annoying. It took them about a minute. So let me just keep smiling because it's a glorious day, and Sharona's looking good too. But wait, there's more. I can imagine it. Third down, Mariota under center. He checks his reads and sees Delaney double covered. Kendall Wright's been pushed out of bounds. DGB and Justin Hunter are talking to each other on the sideline about where they're going after the game. He scrambles, avoids a couple of tackles, and makes it into the end zone standing up. Cut to Ken Wisenhunt's frowny face. So the NFL just completed their 3-day national excuse to drink, known as the draft, last weekend. Our own Sharona covered the whole damn thing. Sharona, tell us, what was it like?
There was no drinking, I can tell you that much. At least not for Sharona. But it was great. It was a fun experience. I worked a lot. I worked my ass off. But I love Chicago, and it was an opportunity to not only be at the draft, my first draft, but also to cover it. And so it was pretty great.
Did you get to meet some of your Twitter buddies and all that?
I did not. I did. I was with our draft crew for Pro Player Insiders, and virtually most of who I saw. Besides, the players, and I did get to meet Claire Graff, who is with NFL PR, and that was very cool. Don't like I hadn't been in Chicago more than a couple of hours, and had just made it to my first event, so that was kind of cool.
So was the booing for Roger Goodell actually louder than it was portrayed on the screen?
It was pretty loud, and not only was it pretty loud, but they were dedicated. It didn't stop. It did not die. Every time he got up there, he got booed.
Yeah, that was like just a constant refrain. And this is from someone who actually didn't watch any of it, but I heard plenty. But the story of the day, of course, is the Tom Brady been caught stealing oxygen. So you read the whole 243-page report because you can
Most of it.
translate from English to a lawyer.
I
So
read the
what do you
law.
think?
I read the lawyer Lee's stuff. I did not read the exhibits. I kind of browsed the exhibits. I'm going to go back and take a look at them. Although, I mean, I don't know. It was based on what I considered to be some. I don't want to call them iffy numbers, but rather curious numbers that didn't add up.
I mean, like that whole list I saw of like what the pressure of each football was,
Hmm.
and it was
Why didn't they match? They weren't even close to matching. They were not matchy at all. And if your equipment's properly calibrated, it should be a lot closer than that, I would think. But what do I know? I mean, I'm just asking the questions.
yeah, like what's the advantage to a deflated football? I don't know. Would you want it? Would you want more or less? I don't even know.
Well, Aaron Rodgers likes his a little bit overinflated. Tom Brady likes his underinflated. Tom Brady has smaller hands, and he does have the rumors, woo, are that he's got that, iffy thumb that was bothering him not in 2014, but in 2013.
Yeah, he's had some rumored like minor health injury or stuff going on the last few years, but he's not a baseball player. He's not going to DL for a hangnail. So yeah, that stuff's never coming out. I'm just glad that Stephen Gostkowski was exonerated because otherwise Bill Belichick would have fired him and blowing up every kicking tee in the state of Massachusetts. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, he was exonerated. There was not enough evidence to establish anything.
And I appreciate that in your Pro Player Insiders article, you were able to keep the curse words in. You know, you got to stick with the integrity of the document.
You got to have priorities.
OMG, Spaz.
OMG, OMG.
Exactly.
Spaz. Oh my God, Spaz.
Maybe since we started this and didn't continue, the Sharona explains her slanguage to Zach. So Spaz, what's that all about? Is that a word from the
You're such a
50s?
spaz. You're such a doofus. You're such a, oh my God, spaz. You're spaz.
Yeah, I feel it. By the way, Sweetwater, Sweet Georgia Brown. What I like is it says this beer is smoother than a Bill Clinton apology. It might be smoother than a Tom Brady apology, because I'm sure we're going to get one of those pretty soon, right?
I don't know how to add documents. I would add a document.
Add a document? What do you got?
I'm drinking, once again, because I got a 6-pack of this stuff. I am drinking my Memphis beer. My Memphis beer. So I'm going to channel my inner Tim Howard and be Memphis as...
Memphis is shit.
Fuck. Fuck.
That's right. Keep the children away. I don't know why any podcast try to be, G-rated. It's ridiculous. Come on. Let's be adults. Let's speak like adults.
Well, I do have a new show called Sharona, a new network called Sharona Unfiltered, and a show that is now called Back Talk with Sharona, and we've been known to drop the occasional F-bomb.
So you have a network. So there going to be more than one show, or is this,
Not yet. I'm soliciting, Zach. We should move our show to the Sharona Unfiltered network.
To the network? We get a beer sponsor.
I kind of like us being, on TV. I'm a star. I'm ready for my close-up.
Do you do Google Hangout for that too? I think I remember being on a phone call though. So yeah. You do Blog Talk, right?
Yeah, right now, yes.
That whole podcast thing. I gotta get in that. That sounds like a non-stop moneymaker.
For today, I had my first show. I was selected to beta test their Hi-Fi. And so my show today was on their Hi-Fi beta testing network, and I got positive feedback. Everybody said it sounded great.
So that was Blog Talk, you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
And do you just use your earbuds for that? Do you use any other microphone?
I've got a headset. I've got...
Some people got some serious, expensive equipment for that sort of stuff. Just curious.
It's not earbuds like what we use. Whoopsies. It's not earbuds like what we use. It's it's with the built-in mic and all of that stuff.
So you take it to the next level. That's good.
Of course, I am next level, baby.
So what do you think about the legal situation of Lyle Collins? Sorry, I got two guys' names confused. That tackle from LSU, who was predicted to be a first-round pick, his girlfriend gets murdered, and then he's questioned, and then he doesn't get drafted. But it sounded like he wasn't a suspect. He just was questioned because it was his ex-girlfriend. The whole thing was kind of unusual because NFL teams seem to not care that much about off-the-field stuff, at least in terms of who they drafted.
Well, no, they don't care about, rape or domestic violence.
No.
You can rape us or beat the shit out of us, just don't kill us, for God's sake.
Okay. Well, it's good to know there's a line, I don't want to make sure.
Come on. The whole he's not a suspect thing is bullshit. They're not going to, they're not going to say whether he is or he isn't. They're still in the investigative. At some point, if, it's not uncommon not to name a suspect this early on as they're gathering. Obviously, they've got good reason to want to question him, but I understand that I have not paid as much attention to that as probably I could or I should. I mean, there's so many other legal situations revolving around the
Yes.
NFL. It's kind of hard to keep up with them all right now. So
Yeah, that one just jumped out at me. I know everybody in the
no, it's a very serious thing, and it was rather curious. And his agent, kind of sort of pulled him out of the draft, and somebody had suggested to me that the baby might not be his. I don't know that we know that. And I know that didn't the baby live for like a week or something like that? Is the baby still alive? I don't think so.
I think not. Yeah.
It's a sad situation.
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be good for the NFL's reputation, as it were, to have a player taken in the first round and appear in Chicago and then get arrested for murder. Only when
they've got one who got drafted, number 1 overall who's being sued for rape. So I don't know.
Yeah, but the people on Twitter who are really big Florida State fans swear that it's not true. So I think we're good.
Oh, well, yes. I think we can rely entirely on that.
That's something you could write.
Because it's not like anybody at FSU did a botchy, shitty investigation, and it's, not like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers talked to her and everybody else involved. And, we all know everybody wants to know the truth here.
Probably not. But there's something to be said for fans of a team who are kind of willing to push more things under the rug just as long as they keep winning. Because obviously Florida State was kind of just floating in the middle there, and then they get to win a national title with him, so obviously they're going to defend him. It's just an ugly situation. I mean, the whole, I don't know if you talked about Frank Clark and being drafted by Seattle and, domestic violence situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then the GM was like, we know he didn't do it, or something like that was obviously not true. But they went ahead and drafted him. I mean, you can't. I don't know. The off-the-field stuff, it doesn't seem to faze them too much.
Well, I think it just depends. Randy Gregory, who maybe not had some depression and social anxiety issues that led him to smoke weed, fell.
Yeah, he was considered maybe a top 10 pick. It seemed like he was a Javon Curse kind of player, kind of a smallish defensive end, super quick.
He's a tweener. He's
not a Michael Sam tweener, though.
Well, I mean, he had better numbers, combine numbers and stuff than Mike Sam did.
That is so true. Although you did see 2013 SEC Defensive Player of the Year, or 7th round pick, and 2014 SEC Defensive Player of the Year, who got busted for pot the week before the draft, 23rd pick overall. So there you go. MIZ. Oh, I totally forgot. I got my brick by brick UT glass for my water in honor of UT bricking the draft. But that's okay, because next year they're coming back, right?
That's right.
I want to talk some UT smack. Come on.
I already talked about this. I talked about it on my show on Monday. The Tennessee Volunteers did not have a single solitary player selected in the 2015 NFL Draft, which just goes to show you that Butch Jones is able to do more with less, and he's coming for you, and you better watch out, SEC East, because Missouri is just going to go down in flames.
I'd hope so with our 2-star people. I see Chad. I see his smiling face. Hey, he's here.
Chad came in right at the bottom of my trash talk to say.
Yeah.
I'll be able to fly on a wall. I'll let you finish.
He was giving me a hard time because my Tennessee Volunteers didn't have a single player drafted in this year's NFL Draft. But I very kindly pointed out to him that we still almost won the division, and the SEC East is wide open, and we're coming for you.
Watch out, because you're all about the college talk, right, Chad?
Absolutely. Like him young.
You do scout guys starting in 8th grade. Is that how it goes?
Pretty close. Pretty close. I just joined a league where we drafted like 700 deep for college, and it was unreal. It blew my mind.
That's awesome. Well, let's get an introduction here. So, Chad Parsons is the co-creator and co-host of UTH Under the Helmet podcast and website, and he's a lover of all things green smoothie. I invited him over as co-host Doug because Chad's Twitter account is way easier to spell. He's going to give us a quick rundown of who to draft and who to avoid in rookie drafts for us Dynasty folk. But first, Chad, give us a little, rundown of what's going on with UTH, because you got like this academy going on. I want to know if you have like, Star Trek like shirts involved with this.
Pretty close. Going to start mailing those out next week. So yeah, basically we've expanded. We're now entering year 2 of the UTH Dynasty website, and great stuff. We've kind of expanded our mobile and audio content, which has been our big push in year 2. And exciting times because we're finishing the NFL draft, and now everyone's dialed in, not just the Dynasty diehards from January through April when everything kind of dies down. And the podcast is better than ever. Just unbelievable fan base that it seems like we don't lose people, and people just keep finding us over and over again. So we really appreciate all the support over like 5 years now. It's amazing.
Well, I always give credit to shows that don't take that break in the off season. I know if you want to take a week or 2 off, but you just gotta. There's always news going on. There's always stuff to talk about, and you get that deep dive into Dynasty. I'm in a 153-man IDP league, and it's pretty crazy to keep track of all that stuff. So how was it? Have you done the Hangouts before? Because I saw I actually was in the first round one for a few minutes. So how was it like to do the full-blown hangout for the first 2 nights of the draft?
Yeah, it was weird being on camera because Doug and I record our podcast on Hangouts and love the format. You can take the audio really easy, but that was the first time, believe it or not. I mean, I thought I did a pretty good job kind of passing everything around, but that was the first time anyone but Doug or myself had talked to each other. So just invited all the people that had written on the website. Didn't know how it was going to pan out, and I ended up staying on. We had Katie Flowers stayed on for like every minute I was on. She was on for the 2 nights. It was unreal, and I woke up Saturday feeling like I just got done with a weekend mistake in college where it's just like, what did I do? I'm so tired, but it was worth it and a blast.
Now, who was on the first night? It looked like from a hospital bed.
Yes, we have 2 guys called Tim, and we called him ER Tim. And he was someone that he actually had surgery. He was still in recovering, had no expectations, just invited everybody. He said, yeah, I want to stop by. It'll be a great distraction. And we're rooting for him because he's still, actually, he was just moved to intensive care, some complications. So thoughts are with him. But it was a great distraction, he said, for having the NFL draft going on. I was in the ER once, and I just remember it was actually when the free agency started, and just anything you can have to distract yourself from where you are, what's happening, and how much you just want to kind of get out of there and be back to normal. So thoughts are with Tim, and that was just fun to kind of tease him and come up with a nickname on the fly there.
Well, yeah, if you got any contact information, let me know, because I've been through a few situations in hospitals myself. And anyone giving you positive, just keeps you going, just to know people thinking about you. So that's cool. So let's talk about something a little less important. So we got rookie drafts coming up. I don't know. I think Sharona's got some dynasty action going. I actually have the 4th pick in a draft. So how was this class stacking up now that we know where teams, what guys are on what teams?
Yeah, one thing that I've done a lot of historical research, and one of my, I'm not going to say claims to fame or anything, but I think one of my strengths is being able to properly value rookie picks in a global sense. I know for a lot of people, until this last week, it's been hard for them to value players because it's still just kind of a generalized, it's rookie 104, as you just mentioned, or rookie 110. You don't really have a face, a team, and a name to go along with that pick. And so now finally everyone's up to speed, and now you don't think of it, like I would be looking in ranges, like you said, 104. I would be looking at how much that pick is worth based on, it's going to be this player or this player when I'm on the clock for decisions I'm making. So that's, and there's a real sweet spot. You're in a prime spot because I put out a few weeks before the draft that I wouldn't be surprised if the big three, and the big three to me is still Todd Gurley, Amari Cooper, and Kevin White, that one of them are going to fall to 104 in probably 25% or more of drafts, which is just nutty. I mean, someone told me Todd Gurley fell to 104 in a draft this week, which is just mind-blowing. But you're in a good spot because there's someone like Devontae Parker that's going to be chalk if you want him. I mean, Melvin Gordon's probably going to be there in plenty of drafts. And you're in a prime position where I think the value play, potentially, if you don't get one of the big three falling, is to trade back 2 or 3 spots and you're going to get a similar player.
Yeah, what's the thought on Gordon? That whole Wisconsin running back, like they seem to make the NFL and then they seem to make hearts break,
Well, I kind of look at all the players individually. I do know the storyline that goes along with the history of Wisconsin. I mean, it goes back to like Ron Dane and beyond. It's pretty, and I kind of look at a lot of metrics. I mean, a lot of my projections are metric based, and I blend them with film evaluation. For Gordon, it always comes back to catching the ball, and I know there's extenuating circumstances for running backs to say, well, they just don't throw it to him in college. LaDainian Tomlinson, if you go all the way back, is a guy that projected as, man, he just didn't catch any passes, and what happened in the NFL? Huge pass catcher. I think he probably led the league one year, and I mean, fantasy football was great in PPR and all that. But for Gordon, it's not a good trend you want to follow. And so Gordon, one of the lowest receiving scores in the class, especially of guys that were drafted in the first 3-4 rounds this year, makes me very wary of someone that has his flaws. Can he pass protect? I don't know if he's going to be a goal line guy. He saw a lot of great blocking, huge holes on the perimeter in college. And he's not a burner. See, everyone thinks he's this great athlete. I just have real concerns that he's a legit 4-5 guy. He's not a 4-3-5, a 4-4 guy that can run away from defensive secondaries. He's someone that he's going to need to learn to be a real running back because I think he kind of got by with some bad habits in college.
Well, that's interesting to think about. Yeah, those Wisconsin. It's odd because the Wisconsin OL coach took over at the Titans, and their offensive line was pretty rough last year. So you just don't know how guys translate. Now, how much do you?
I follow the Badgers. The Wisconsin offensive line is solid. Is always solid. They've got those homegrown country boys, and I agree with what Chad just said, but I think there's a lot to like about Melvin Gordon, and I think that given enough time to develop, I think he can be a nice running back in the league.
Well, I didn't listen to Chad long enough because he's the lover of everything wide receiver. So my wide receiver core in my dynasty team's pretty bad. I actually traded like Matt Forte to get the pick that was Mike Evans last year. So I'm thinking I need to let up on receiver, but then again, we got to be best player available, I think, no matter where you're drafting.
Well, I'll give out a teaser that I've been looking at some rookie draft data for the last 10, 12 years, and the strong play is if you have a top 4 rookie pick is just to go wide receiver. The general trend, and that's been very profitable over running backs over the course of time. And I know we've had a few barren classes with the NFL draft for running backs that just haven't produced for us that have been drafted highly. But so I would be looking at Kevin White or Devontae Parker by the trends there. And then if you have a later first-round pick, or especially second-rounders, I kind of think loading up as you go later in rookie drafts is sort of the probability play by position.
Well, last year I did the move that a lot of people recommend. I traded a third-round pick. I had like 2 third-round picks. I traded one for a this year's second-round pick. That pick turned into Jeremy Hill, so I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do as well this year as last year, but sometimes.
Well, here's the thing: is that a lot of people go by where they go in the NFL draft. I mean, they use that as a big indicator, and it is one. But here's what happens: is you get running backs that go on day 2, deep into day 2, and they get discounted. And really, the historical trend is they have about a 50-50 shot. Even guys that were drafted near pick 100. So when you look at guys this year, like a Duke Johnson, I mean, he's not everyone's favorite, but especially guys like Tevin Coleman, David Johnson, Matt Jones, they're going to be a value in the second round of rookie drafts or beyond because you look at the draft position And what happens when a running back hits? All it takes is one injury in front of them a lot of times, and they're going to zoom up in value. And pretty much you can trade them for twice as much as you paid at a minimum. So that's just something to keep in mind, and why running backs, I like investing in them, but not at a premium price point, because you don't have as much wiggle room on the upside compared to the downside.
Plus, you got to jump quick, because I took Zach Stacy like with the 11th pick in the rookie draft 2 years ago, and that year I felt like a genius. And man, if I had traded high, it would have worked out.
I was gonna say it's such a slippery slope, right? He got all those carries, and you just couldn't let go, could you?
It's hard to let go. Well, it just reminded me, and that's why I traded Matt Forte, before last year. I'm like, well, he's like 28 years old, and if I can get a guy I drafted in the 2008 draft in the 5th round, it was kind of it was a term I called fantasy football immortality. Like, if you can trade a rookie pick from 2008 for a rookie pick in 2013, and then just keep it going, maybe you can keep the pick forever and just keep rotating and rotating. But that's the tough thing in Dynasty, because it looks like from the startups I've seen, it's just like it's wide receiver crazy. Like, running backs are just really.
Well, it's a state of running backs. It's a state of running backs. I mean, it's ripe. We have basically the producers, by and large, are 27, 28, 29 years old. Adrian Peterson's going to be 30. So we need and we've had plenty of busts like Trent Richardson, Doug Martin, that those were supposed to be the guys that filled. I mean, they were top 5 overall picks after they broke out after the rookie season, and rightfully so. They were young, they had lead roles, and since they've fallen off in a variety of ways. But now this class is really in a prime position where they're going to get elevated, whether they're super talented or not, or whether they can hold the job for 3 to 5 years, who knows. But they're going to get artificially inflated, because these leagues, people chase running backs, and there's only so many jobs. So if you have a job, you're decently talented, you got some draft pedigree, you're going to maintain that dynasty value because you're 23 years old with a job. It comes down. It's that basic. And unfortunately, I mean, I don't like to chase it that much in terms of the premium picks, but there's ones, and that's why I think the second round and third round of rookie drafts this year are so crucial. Is that you're getting a chance to get guys that emerge into the top 20.
There's just so much dead weight. I was thinking of like Kenny Irons and Artos Pinner. I was thinking those are guys who were actually taken at the end of the first round in drafts in the past, and they didn't even. Some guys give you a little bit, but those guys never did anything, and it's just scary. Do you think this year's running back class compares at all to like the 2008 class? Because that was like the glorious, you could do no wrong unless you drafted Darren McFadden class.
Yeah, and that's kind of I do a metric look. I haven't done it for this year in totality yet, but yeah, the 2008 class is basically the last good one when you look historically and as a whole, and I agree with that, where I think you're going to get a lot in that draft. You had a lot of value from especially the second and third rounds, and I think you're going to see that. Maybe not to the extent of, I mean, there were so many guys that were good for so long. I mean, just by my count, there's 4 guys that had 4 seasons as fantasy starters or more, which is just obscene. And some of them are still counting. So I think you could get that, and especially because, I mean, again, when you talk about emerging beyond your peers, if your peers are getting old and they're falling off, you don't have to be that great to kind of pass them because they're going out to pasture to retire in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, I got Matt Forte and Ray Rice in that draft, and I was able to trade Forte high, and of course Ray Rice. I remember the year before last, it was like he came off a really good season, and they were in the Super Bowl, and I was like, oh, I should trade him. It's like, no, you can't trade him. He's too valuable, and that would have been a good time to do it. But you have to learn from your experiences. I've had some bad. I mean, I traded the house once for Julius Jones, so that's talking about a bad. That's a bad beat.
And just to expound on that, it's basically, I mean, people think rookies are risky. Well, think of holding or paying a premium for a 27, 28-year-old running back. That carries a lot of risk too, and my argument is that carries more risk because they can only go down. They could have a 2,000-yard season. Their value's not going up. It's just not. People are going to accelerate the season, age them 1 year, and they're still going to go down in value. Look at Marshawn Lynch, right? He keeps producing, his value keeps dropping. Why? Because they know he's one step closer to the end. He's just avoided. He's been like a best case scenario. He hasn't got hurt one time. People want to bash on Kristen Michael. Well, it's not his fault that one of the best running backs in the league has logged 20 carries a game for 3 straight years and not gotten hurt. Who does that? That's like Frank Gore. I mean, it just doesn't happen. So it's not their fault sitting behind him.
It's almost the Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre situation all over again, right? Because, I mean, Michael's a fantastic talent, but you don't sit Brett Favre to play Aaron Rodgers, and you don't sit Marshawn Lynch to play Kristen Michael.
Yeah, if he gets hurt, it's game on. Who knows?
Exactly.
Seattle maybe gets rid of Lynch in the offseason. Michael has a good run of 3 or 4 games, and people forget Robert Turbin. He's good too.
Yeah, he is too. He is
good at drafting running backs. Can we just they're stockpiling. Don't say the first guy is good and the other 2 are garbage to us because they happen to be on the same depth chart. It happens, and I'd be very surprised. Like Michael Turner, right? He was sat behind LaDainian Tomlinson. We all knew he was going to get offered a job down the line because he was pretty darn good player. Sure enough, he reels off a few seasons with the Falcons before he inevitably falls off as well. So just wait, and he's a glaring example of just drafting talent and waiting for that situation to change and work your way.
Yeah, I took him I think it was the first year of a dynasty league. I took him in a rookie draft and just held on to him forever, and it actually worked out. It worked out a lot better than Ben Tate, because everybody was like, no, when he leaves the Texans, he's going to be great.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Did anyone sign him? He's not even on a team, right?
He's changed team like 3 times in 6 months, and that's typically the sign. That's the bat signal up above that it's over for you. He's going to be at home.
So is this a good time to trade your rookie picks? Because is this like the time they're the most valuable? At least
if you're going to. But here's the other part: now is when you have the best idea of who will be available to you at those spots. So I'm always open to trading. Obviously, now's a better time to sell and the best time to buy. Actually, now's the best time to buy 2016 rookie picks. The farther out you go, people forget, people undervalue them, and I'm one to almost value them equally because a first rounder is a first rounder, and I want as many as possible. And when you get there, people are going to be like, how did I lose my first? Oh, yeah, I traded him for some schmuck a year ago. Like, they're not even going to remember the deal. They won't. It's going to be like a drunken weekend mistake. And all they tried to do was get up, from 206 to 110 this year, and they gave up their future first, and you win forever. As you were saying, you can almost perpetuate that pick, keep trading it, and keep acquiring future firsts over and over and over again. Like
speaking of those kinds of trades, I got 2 words for Zach: Bobby Rainey.
Was that a second round?
There you go.
That was the second round.
What pick was that exactly? Now that
I don't remember, and that league folded, so it's all good, and I won it. So boo.
It folded because you won it. Exactly. They gave up.
Sometimes those future trades, you don't even have to pay it off. Sometimes a loan comes due, and you're like, hey, I don't have to worry about it. I
lost the paperwork, right?
Exactly.
I don't know what happened. The keys are in the glove box. You can come by if you want, but I locked the door.
Do you like to do IDP at all? Because that makes our rookie drafts a little interesting because you kind of start hitting on those guys in the second and third round.
Oh, it's fascinating, and I'm one. We actually do an IDP startup primer series, so we'll have a second installment coming out after the draft here. But I love that format where, like you said, it just makes the later rounds interesting. It pushes down offensive talent. If you really know what you're doing, how to value the positions in relation to each other, it creates, I think, even more advantage. Like deeper the roster, deeper starting requirements, make it bigger, make other owners make more decisions. And I just kind of think the more prepared you are, and the more advantage you have, and you kind of compound that over and over again within a season and over a few years.
Well, make it bigger. That is not what Tom Brady said. That is not too soon. Not at all. Well, we got a little time with Chad. So, Chad, we have, of course, one more question. This is a very important question. So, do you actually hate the taste of food?
I do, in a way. And I think you drink smoothies too. So this teasing, I think you're kind of towards my wagon. I mean, but yeah, I'm not a foodie in any capacity. I think I remember on the Jetsons or something, they made fun of new and futuristic food on how you just take pills. Like you take pills with water and then you move on with your day. And I'd be all for that, even if it cost a little more than food now. If it was nutritious and kind of got me through, I would certainly do that because I don't like how time-consuming it is. Now we'll just go in food show, and that's great. don't get the. It takes like an hour and a half every day, and that's if you're pretty efficient with making your food and eating it and preparing it. I mean, if you want to hang out with somebody, I always say this: if you want to hang out with somebody, just hang out with them. You don't have to go out to eat. You don't have to meet at a coffee shop. You can just say, "Hey, would you like to sit and talk?" I know that's kind of straightforward, and what happens if they say no? Does it mean they don't like you? But if I ask them to coffee, they have to say yes because they like coffee, so they'll like me. Like they make all these strange connections to kind of mask whether they don't like you. You love coffee, so if I ask you to coffee, you'll go. That's just kind of how it works.
I'm drinking a coffee beer.
I'll get a cup of Joe. Sure,
Coffee's
let's
done.
go. Let's go hang out. But I'm getting the cup of coffee. Who knows what's happening, beyond that? And it's just
out when you turn your head.
So anyway, I know that it's part of the social construct, but in my personal life, my wife loves to go out to eat, so when she wants to go, we go. But I think I suggest it twice a year or something like that. It's a ridiculously low amount.
Are you still in D.C.?
I am. Nation's capital.
Have you met Carl or C.D. Carter? Because those are the two guys I know that live in that area.
Folks are rooting for us to get together and have some sort of hangout and chronicle it in some form or fashion. I don't know how that would go. I mean, I can't really compete with Denny's hair, and Carl and I just are like oil and water. Like, I don't even know if we could be in the same room with what's built up on Twitter. I mean, I just kind of hear about it third person, but I honestly, we live so close together, and who knows, maybe we walked by each other in front of one of the monuments. I have no idea.
Well, I've been in Atlanta, and I've been doing fantasy football interviews for like 4 years, and I think I've met one person in person the whole time in the city. So, yeah, sometimes it's just easier to chat with people who live online. Just, internet friends are better. Come on.
Internet friends, exactly. You can click I'm leaving anytime, right? You have to go, all right, who's going to cover this check? Because I want to go.
Exactly. So, Chad, before you go, just tell everybody where to find you and all the cool stuff going on with Under the Helmet, UTH, and all that.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Under the Helmet podcast, it's on iTunes, it's on Stitcher Radio. Come by, check it out. It's Dynasty-centric, and right now we'll be talking plenty of NFL draft. So with my co-host Doug Veach, it's been around for a while. And UTH Dynasty football, I write for Football Guys as well, some Dynasty stuff. Actually, some daily fantasy football content in season, so you can check that out. And uthdynasty.com, we have plenty of subscriptions for whatever you're interested in, and we're really focusing on premium podcasts and UTH to go mobile content.
And Chad's like, I spend my time you spend making food on football. I have singular focus, so that's good. Well, thanks for being on the show, Chad. It was good to chat with you, and I'll probably be DMing you like crazy when my rookie picks come up because I'm starting about a week.
Absolutely, anytime, and thanks for having me on, both of you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Chad.
It's all good in the neighborhood. Look at that. See, we had a drop in because usually we get somebody in for like the whole show, and we have Chewy, my cat, for a nice little cameo there. There's so much to talk about, all the rookie stuff. I don't know. Do you have rookie drafts now that you have the league that disappeared? What about the one where you have Tom Brady, or is that the same one?
That was the same one. I think that I've concluded all the mock drafts that I was doing. I told Bruce, as you know, was on the show, and he was spearheaded most of them, and I told him that I was going to take a break because I didn't need to be drafting while I was in Chicago. And so I've spent this week just trying to get caught back up, and I have not joined any new ones, but I have. Before I left, I had 2 rookie mocks. One was a rookie IDP mock, and the other, I think I had 3 actually. I had a rookie IDP, and I think I had 2 just straight up rookie mocks. At least one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just have the one, and I have the 4th pick, and the 4th pick in the second round, and the 10th pick in the second round, and we'll see. Because I was thinking, you stack up your picks, and I remember there was a year where I had like 10 rookie picks. I ended up getting Bilal Powell, Jacquizz Rodgers, and Tywan Jones. And Vincent Brown too. So that was an exciting crop of nothing. So yeah, sometimes your picks don't work out, and sometimes they do. Actually, I think the year Arian Foster came out, he was a pick in the 6th round, and he was traded like twice before he really, blew up. But I see. So you're still looking for a dynasty then, huh?
Yeah, I have not joined a new dynasty fantasy football league yet. The next one that I want to do an IDP. So we'll hopefully figure that out. Get one.
I feel like we could put one together because I was talking to Ken last week, who's in Chicago. and he wanted
Whatever.
to-
We were supposed to put one together last year and we never did.
Huh. So you're saying a lot of talk and no action.
I'm saying you're all talk and no action.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't
Now-
know why. It's like I
now
have two. I have
Feel
two
free to
leagues.
surprise me.
I have two leagues, and it's like when the season's going on, that seems like plenty. But then, yeah, you always end up joining a couple. But we have gone through. We're almost at the 9 o'clock hour, and we haven't even started to talk about the local team. So I think my dad.
Did you know that I renamed them?
No, what's that?
See, now I know that you don't listen to my show.
Well, I only have 2 ears. It's hard to keep track. Sorry. See, I'm not just
See what?
Oh, good. Go ahead and tell me. I don't want to ruin the surprise.
No, I'm gonna say I don't want to ruin the surprise because I know that you want to go back and listen to it.
Oh, come on.
Did you ever, during any of your growing up years or what have you, ever listen to any REO Speedwagon?
Oh, sure. They're not working for the weekend, right? That's somebody else.
That's Loverboy.
Okay, that's close.
Did you ever listen to their album High Infidelity?
I don't think so. I had Jay Giles Band. That's one I had. I remember.
Were you aware that they did a song that kind of tied into the Little Rascals? And did you ever watch the Little Rascals?
I don't. I believe that was a little before my time.
Well, it was before my time too, but you can watch stuff that's before your time. Are you telling me that you've never seen Casablanca or?
Well, yeah, movies, TV. It's not like it is now where you can watch whatever
You never
want,
watched The
whenever you want.
Honeymooners or I Love Lucy or any of the older shows?
Oh, sure.
See, so now you're just
I'm
telling
sure this
me
is leading somewhere, right? Come on, Titan's name, hit me.
I'm giving you hints to pick the name and what I did, and you're so far. Woof, woof.
Yeah, my brain's definitely not clicking tonight. Well, let's, you can go ahead and drop it whenever you want. But what do you think? Mariota, were you kind of surprised that they actually drafted him, or?
No, I was telling everybody it was going to happen.
Because it really seemed like all that draft stuff was just talk. Like, the day after the pick happened, people were on Twitter saying, why didn't you take that trade that the Eagles offered? And then later they said, oh, by the way, that trade the Eagles offered that had like 5 first-round draft picks and half their roster, oh, yeah, they didn't actually make that offer. So,
well, see, what can you believe anymore? I mean,
like
seriously,
total,
what can you believe anymore?
it's not time for me to fly. I'm not.
Time for Me to Fly is not from High Infidelity. It's from You Can Tune a Piano, but You Can't Tune a Fish.
Oh, okay. Can't tune a Titan?
See, how do I upload? I can't upload anything in here.
Well, there's a green arrow there to the left it says screen share. If you want to share some other screen you have open, you can do that.
Oh, okay, maybe I
was
can.
trying to play Jane's Addiction, been caught stealing for Tom Brady, but every time I do YouTube on here, it doesn't sound very good.
Hold on.
Sure.
Let me see if I can do this. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, when the Titans people in Chicago had lays on, you could tell they knew who they were going to pick in advance. And I don't know if that whole Hawaii thing's that good because Timmy Chang, I mean, come on. Nothing?
It's working on it. Can you hold your little horses?
I can't.
Obviously. Oh, I can't do it. Well, dang it.
What were you? No.
I was gonna, but I can't. Okay. Here. Hold on. Well, I can't do, okay, yeah, hold on. Keep going.
Hold on.
Keep going. I can do it now. Go on. Keep talking.
I'm guessing you were pro Dorial Green Beckham in the second round.
Totally. Oh my God.
They
Oh my
took
God.
they took Justin Hunter again 2 years later, and at least they got to trade down this time instead of trade up. So that's something. They got an extra pick, which of course they used for Sharona's favorite position on the Titans, fullback.
Hang on.
I see she's typing.
I've almost got it. If you'll please hold on.
I'm trying. So yeah, I didn't expect in any way that the Titans would take Dorial Green Beckham just because of the off the field concerns. The fact that he wore 15, which is the other guy's number. Oh, there we go. There it is. Yeah.
Alfalfa, will you swing me before we have lunch? Sure, darling. Say, Romeo, what about your promise to the He-Man Woman Haters Club? I'm sorry, Spanky. I have to live my own life.
So is that the Titans?
That's I renamed them the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably.
So
that says all we need to know about your thoughts on Dorial Green Beckham, huh?
it says everything you need to know.
I mean, the fact is, he got busted for pot. Then he got busted with like a pound of pot, but later his friend claimed it was his. And the final incident involved him, throwing someone down the stairs and grabbing a woman by the hair. But no one pressed charges because it's college town. And it takes a lot for your number one overall high school recruit to get kicked out. So, yeah, they kicked him out.
And then he went to Oklahoma and never played it down.
Missouri's had some off-field issues that don't make you really get too excited about your alma mater. So that was, one of them that it was like he had to get out, and he had pretty good, family. Like, he had foster parents who really took care of him. And the odd thing was he had a younger brother, and Missouri basically offered him a scholarship as a freshman. And then he graduated high school and decided to move to New York City to be a model instead of playing football. So there you go. There are other careers to have. So the excitement level over him, it didn't seem like people were too excited about the third round pick, the tackle. It sounded like he was more of a guard, although Titans might need a helping guard. No, their guys weren't that good last year.
Maybe he can develop into a good swing guy. Right now, to me, he's just a guy without a true NFL position. He played left tackle in college. Maybe he plays right tackle. Maybe he's a guard. Nobody seems to know what he's going to play. Okay.
Yeah, this year I knew the names less than in previous years.
His name is Patasi.
You wouldn't have heard of him. It sounded like a lot of Utah guys are being drafted from what I saw. I don't know. On Friday,
there were quite a few.
On Friday, I was at a friend's house, and we were playing poker, so we were kind of half paying attention. The best moment was when my Steelers friend got pissed because the Ravens traded up to get the tight end, and then the Steelers drafted that really short cornerback at Ole Miss, who actually I've heard is a good player, but it's just funny that the Ravens kind of jumped up to grab that tight end. And actually, Max Williams to the Ravens, that seems like a pretty good match.
I like that one. I like that.
So overall, with the Titans, you're kind of like, not feeling it.
I just pulled it up. Well, let's see.
You just pulled it up, everybody.
Well, we talked about the second one. Jeremiah Patasi is an offensive lineman from Utah. I mean, cautiously optimistic. I didn't. Angelo Blackson. Okay, they drafted another defensive tackle. Maybe they move on from Sammy Lee Hill, who I might remind everybody has a rape charge pending against him. Not that you hear anything about that. We talked about the. You don't. We talked about Jalston Fowler. Nice player. I don't understand why the Titans would burn a 4th-round draft pick on a player that they use like maybe 6 or 7 snaps per game last year. Another offensive outside linebacker from Louisville had a lot of players drafted. The Gallic center from Boston College. I'm kind of okay. Oh, I skipped the running back, David. I like the David Cobb pick.
Yeah, it does seem that everybody's pretty much given up on Bishop Sankey. Like, he's dead. So to have competition is a good idea. And, oh, by the way, the Sean Green's still on the roster, everybody. So who knows? I think I already said earlier today they shouldn't cut him.
I don't think this is a reflection of Sankey as much as it is a reflection of who's behind Sankey and is it Sean Green or Antonio Andrews is still hanging around out there. Do you rely on an undrafted free agent at your 3rd running back spot? Maybe a more reflection on Dexter McCluster.
Gosh, Dexter. Yeah. I mean, the Mariota pick, in a way, it really only dawned on me a few days before the draft that the Titans needed a jersey guy with the first pick, like a guy who could sell jerseys and a guy who could sell tickets. Because my dad got an email from the team, and I got one 3 minutes after the pick, trying to sell season tickets with Mariota's face on there. And I think he still has to arm wrestle Ryan Suckup for number 8, but I think he's going to get it. Just considering that they've already.
Oh, another arm wrestling. Woo!
Yeah, I know. Watch out. Charlie Whitehurst lost last year, a punter, allegedly.
And they've actually said that they're going to let Marcus Mariota be Marcus Mariota, courtesy they didn't extend to Jake Locker.
Yeah, that's why I made the joke about Mariota running in the end zone, because it seemed like Wisenhunt was pissed every time he ran. It's like, if a guy can run and his guys are covered, which considering our receivers is not surprising, yeah, you might want to run occasionally. Or at least a threat.
Maybe.
Have something. I mean, when you draft 3 quarterbacks in the top 10 in a decade, then it's been a bad decade. So.
Let's just face it, the only running back they really wanted to run was Leon Washington.
Leon, yeah.
Leon!
Is he still on the roster?
And I say Leon. No, he was only on a 1 year.
The karaoke show begins early. See, when you detach yourself a bit, it makes you just kind of admire the draft from afar. I mean, we were out and about, and I think I saw they made the Trey McBride pick, and that's just, oh yeah, everybody who, all those draft nicks have been talking about him, the guy to William and Mary, they took in the 7th round. And I was like, wow, that's actually a pick they made in the 7th round that might actually be good. It's been maybe since Cortland Finnegan, they've had one of those.
Yeah, but I didn't understand their refusal to acknowledge that they've still got secondary issues, and they didn't take a single solitary defensive back. Not one.
Well, they got that guy from the 49ers, and they got the...
What, huh?
I can't remember what his name was.
Parrish Cox.
Yeah, does he have some off-the-field issues too? Because
he went through a rape trial.
Everybody on the 49ers and now the Titans are having some off-the-field issues. Wow. What a glorious time to be a football coverer, huh? I think you've hit it. You've hit the sweet spot. You got the law background. That's a useful thing to have when you're writing about the NFL.
I guess.
I guess. Yeah. So it was good. It was an enjoyable weekend. Did you sleep for 2 days when you got home?
No, although I've slept a little bit more since I got home. I got home in time, fortunately, to watch Game 7 of the Clippers-Spurs series, and that was fantastic. And I went to bed after that. Yeah, well,
I forgot to ask. That was what Chad jokingly said. Are we talking about, what is it, the NHL or NBA? Hey, the Hawks, they won Game 2. Woo, go Atlanta. We're still in it. Yeah, other sports. What are you gonna do? You can try, but how about those sounds? I don't know. How are they doing?
How about those sounds? They've got a nice, shiny new stadium.
Yeah, I heard it's quite nice. Yeah, I just saw the text Sharona sent me, with all the drinks she was having on the flight home. So, or before the flight home, I don't remember.
My flight got delayed. I had a glass of wine.
Just one? Yeah.
Okay, maybe two.
I recall it was actually a friend of mine, his brother invited us to Chicago. We had a drink at the bar when we landed. We had drinks before the flight, we had drinks during the flight, and we went straight to his house and commenced to continue drinking. So yeah, Chicago's a good town to go if you want to drink or cover the draft, right? So have they already announced where the draft is next year? Or the first
I don't
round?
believe so. A couple of names. Well, we heard L.A. and what was
They'll have it in Jacksonville before they have it in Nashville. Just like the Super Bowl. Green Bay?
Yeah. LA is the only name I want to throw out there because I can't exactly remember. There was another name, but I don't remember.
It's hard to remember.
Can't remember everything.
That is true. We'll try. We'll do our best. So, Sharon, what you got going on? What's happening? I mean, can you possibly sum it up and, Go ahead. No? I had it finished there, but I lost it. So.
Well, as soon as we get through here, I am going to finish editing an article that I've been editing for PPI, and then it'll probably be time to think about heading to bed and trying to get caught up on my sleep. I went to bed fairly early last night, not too awfully bad, but I woke up at early, like 5:30, something like that. I was up early this morning, and so I'm really tired.
Yeah, you have writer's hours, right? Stay up till 4, wake up at noon. I mean, come on.
That me?
Not so much?
Not so much. No. Well, I did have those hours in Chicago. I didn't sleep hardly any at all. And it wasn't because I was partying. It was because I was working. Although Chicago is beautiful, and I got to get out a little bit, go get food, and I didn't get to do any souvenir shopping or anything like that. I didn't have that opportunity. So.
Did you get Chicago pizza?
I did get deep dish Chicago pizza.
I still rate New York over Chicago. It's not bad though.
I prefer New York style pizza too.
I mean, to go into the coal-fired pizza joints in New York, not sure how they bypass there's some kind of grandfather clause to keep doing that, but it's quite good.
I frankly prefer Sicilian pizza to all of it, though.
Oh, I don't even know you anymore.
Oh, well, whatever.
All pizza, I mean, it's not like, it's like a bad pizza is like 3 out of 4 stars. I mean, come on.
There's a difference.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get the good stuff next time in Nashville. We'll make it happen. So I got the scoop on you for once. I got Jersey Jen Ryan,
I saw that.
Ask Your Fantasy Football expert this week. Apparently she spent the entire weekend in Miami just in the sun without any sunscreen. So she's roasted and wondering why did the Cowboys not draft any running backs. But that's the interview I had this week.
Awesome.
Other than that, we're keeping it mellow and just bothering people on Twitter, and none of my tweets have been accidents or hacks so far.
What did he say? I saw
people
talking about it. I totally missed the Andrew Whitworth thing.
It was, yeah.
Maybe I don't want to know.
He basically just tweeted that the owner of the Bengals said that he wasn't going to extend his contract, so he was like, oh, I'm not going to play for you this year. And then I think it was his agent was like, that was an accidental tweet. I'm like, no, that was what he really felt, and now he wanted to take it back. And If you delete a tweet, it's actually worse. Yeah, exactly. The Bengals being cheap, that's a first. You have to pay for your own water there, I think. But hey, they have Andy Dalton, so you gotta feel good. Anyway, so I guess that's all we got for this week's show. So it was very nice to get Chad on and talk.
I missed you last week, Zach. I'm very
I know.
excited that we got to do a show tonight.
Mm-hmm. And for next week, I'll have to try to crash down and actually listen to all your shows, because I heard you had a nice gamer show.
It was awesome. It was excellent.
It was good.
It was very good.
Ever since I finished Mario Wii, my poor Wii's been all dusty. I haven't played it since.
See?
Once you save the princess, because you got to save the princess.
You've got to save the
2 feet
princess.
taller than you. I was like, at least when Mario saves the princess, he should be the big Mario, not the little Mario. But anyway, that's a little nitpick. So quality beer, all good?
All good.
Well, okay then. Well, we will just call it a night. So
all right.
We have gotten past the draft. We have, 18 weeks or something until the NFL season starts? Something like that. It's really not that far away. So we will conclude by saying good night and kiss my grits. Titans are the best.